Zygmunt Bauman is a Polish sociologist. He has resided in England since 1971 after being driven out of Poland by an anti-Semitic campaign engineered by the communist government. Professor Emeritus of Sociology at the University of Leeds, Bauman is one of the world's most eminent social theorists, writing on issues as diverse as modernity and the Holocaust, postmodern consumerism and liquid modernity. Biography: Zygmunt Bauman was born to non-practicing Polish Jewish parents in Poznań, Poland, in 1925. When Poland was invaded by the Nazis in 1939, his family escaped eastwards into the Soviet Union. Bauman then enlisted in the Soviet-controlled Polish First Army, working as a political education instructor. He took part in the battles of Kolberg and Berlin. In May 1945 he was awarded the Military Cross of Valor. According to the Institute of National Remembrance, from 1945 to 1953 Bauman was a political officer in the Internal Security Corps, a military unit formed to combat Ukrainian nationalist insurgents and part of the remnants of the Polish Home Army. Further, Bauman worked as an informer for the military intelligence from 1945 to 1948. However, the nature and extent of his collaboration remain unknown, as well as the exact circumstances under which it was terminated. In an interview in The Guardian, Bauman confirmed that he had been a committed communist during and after World War II and had never made a secret of it. He admitted, however, that joining the military intelligence service at age 19 was a mistake, even though he had a dull desk job and did not remember informing on anyone. While serving in the KBW, Bauman first studied sociology at the Warsaw Academy of Social Sciences. He went on to study philosophy at the University of Warsaw. Sociology had temporarily been cancelled from the Polish curriculum as a bourgeois discipline, and his teachers at Warsaw included Stanisław Ossowski and Julian Hochfeld. In the KBW, Bauman had risen to the rank of major when he was suddenly dishonorably discharged in 1953, after his father approached the Israeli embassy in Warsaw with a view to emigrating to Israel. As Bauman did not share his father's Zionist tendencies and was indeed strongly anti-Zionist, his dismissal caused a severe, though temporary, estrangement from his father. During the period of unemployment that followed, he completed his MA and in 1954 became a lecturer at the University of Warsaw, where he remained until 1968. During a stay at the London School of Economics, where his supervisor was Robert Mackenzie, he prepared a comprehensive study on the British socialist movement, his first major book. Published in Polish in 1959, a translated and revised edition appeared in English in 1972. Bauman went on to publish other books, including Sociology Anarcho-Tcy, which reached a large popular audience in Poland and later formed the foundation for the English-language textbook Thinking Sociologically. Initially, Bauman remained close to orthodox Marxist doctrine, but influenced by Antonio Gramsci and Georg Simmel, he became increasingly critical of Poland's communist government. Because of this, he was never awarded a professorship even after he completed his habilitation, but, after his former teacher Julian Hochfeld was made vice-director of UNESCO's Department for Social Sciences in Paris in 1962, Bauman de facto inherited Hochfeld's chair. Faced with increasing political pressure and the anti-Semitic campaign led by Mieczysław Mocha, the chief of the Polish Communist secret police, Bauman renounced his membership in the governing Polish United Workers' Party in January 1968. With the March 1968 events, the anti-Semitic campaign culminated in a purge, which drove most remaining Poles of Jewish descent out of the country, including many intellectuals who had fallen from grace with the communist government. Bauman, who had lost his chair at the University of Warsaw, was among them. Having had to give up Polish citizenship to be allowed to leave the country, he first went to Israel to teach at Tel Aviv University, before accepting a chair in sociology at the University of Leeds, where he intermittently also served as head of department. Since then, he has published almost exclusively in English, his third language, and his repute has grown exponentially. Indeed, from the late 1990s, Bauman exerted a considerable influence on the anti-or alter globalization movement. In a 2011 interview in the important Polish weekly Polityka, Bauman criticized Zionism and Israel, saying Israel was not interested in peace and that it was taking advantage of the Holocaust to legitimize unconscionable acts. He compared the Israeli West Bank barrier to the walls of the Warsaw Ghetto where hundreds of thousands of Jews died in the Holocaust. Israeli ambassador to Warsaw, Zvi Bar, called Bauman's comments half-truths and groundless generalizations. Bauman was married to writer Janina Vinson and has three daughters, painter Lydia Bauman, architect Irina Bauman, and professor of mathematics education Anna Sfard. The noted Israeli civil rights lawyer Michael Sfard is his grandson. Work: Bauman's published work extends to 57 books and well over 100 articles. Most of these address a number of common themes, among which are globalization, modernity and postmodernity, consumerism, and morality. Early work: Bauman's earliest publication in English is a study of the British labour movement and its relationship to class and social stratification, originally published in Poland in 1960. He continued to publish on the subject of class and social conflict until the early 1980s, with his last book on the subject being Memories of Class. Whilst his later books do not address issues of class directly, he continues to describe himself as a socialist, and he has never rejected Marxism entirely. The Marxist theorist Antonio Gramsci in particular remains one of his most profound influences. Modernity and rationality. In the late 1980s and early 1990s, Bauman published a number of books that dealt with the relationship between modernity, bureaucracy, rationality and social exclusion. Bauman, following Freud, came to view European modernity as a trade-off. European society, he argued, had agreed to forego a level of freedom in order to receive the benefits of increased individual security. Bauman argued that modernity, in what he later came to term its solid form, involved removing unknowns and uncertainties. It involved control over nature, hierarchical bureaucracy, rules and regulations, control and categorization, all of which attempted to gradually remove personal insecurities, making the chaotic aspects of human life appear well-ordered and familiar. Then, over a number of books, Bauman began to develop the position that such order-making efforts never managed to achieve the desired results. When life becomes organized into familiar and manageable categories, he argued, there are always social groups who cannot be administered, who cannot be separated out and controlled. In his book Modernity and Ambivalence, Bauman began to theorize such indeterminate persons by introducing the allegorical figure of the stranger. Drawing upon the sociology of Georg Simmel and the philosophy of Jacques Derrida, Bauman came to write of the stranger as the person who is present yet unfamiliar, society's undecidable. In Modernity and Ambivalence, Bauman attempted to give an account of the different approaches modern society adopts toward the stranger. He argued that, on the one hand, in a consumer-oriented economy the strange and the unfamiliar is always enticing. In different styles of food, different fashions and in tourism it is possible to experience the allure of what is unfamiliar. Yet this strangeness also has a more negative side. The stranger, because he cannot be controlled and ordered, is always the object of fear. He is the potential mugger, the person outside of society's borders who is constantly threatening. Bauman's most famous book, Modernity and the Holocaust, is an attempt to give a full account of the dangers of these kinds of fears. Drawing upon Hannah Arendt and Theodor Adorno's books on totalitarianism and the Enlightenment, Bauman developed the argument that the Holocaust should not simply be considered to be an event in Jewish history, nor a regression to pre-modern barbarism. Rather, he argued, the Holocaust should be seen as deeply connected to modernity and its order-making efforts. Procedural rationality, the division of labor into smaller and smaller tasks, the taxonomic categorization of different species, and the tendency to view rule following as morally good all played their role in the Holocaust coming to pass. And he argued that for this reason modern societies have not fully taken on board the lessons of the Holocaust. It is generally weird to use Bauman's metaphor like a picture hanging on a wall, offering few lessons. In Bauman's analysis the Jews became strangers par excellence in Europe. The final solution was pictured by him as an extreme example of the attempts made by societies to excise the uncomfortable and indeterminate elements existing within them. Bauman, like the philosopher Giorgio Agamben, contended that the same processes of exclusion that were at work in the Holocaust could, and to an extent do, still come into play today. Postmodernity and consumerism. In the mid to late 1990s, Bauman began exploring postmodernity and consumerism. He posited that a shift had taken place in modern society in the latter half of the 20th century. It had changed from a society of producers into a society of consumers. According to Bauman, this change reversed Freud's modern trade-off that is, security was given up in order to enjoy more freedom to purchase, consume, and enjoy life. In his books in the 1990s, Bauman wrote of this shift as being a shift from modernity to postmodernity. Since the turn of the millennium, his books have tried to avoid the confusion surrounding the term postmodernity by using the metaphors of liquid and solid modernity. In his books on modern consumerism, Bauman still writes of the same uncertainties that he portrayed in his writings on solid modernity. But in these books he writes of these fears being more diffuse and harder to pin down. Indeed, they are, to use the title of one of his books, liquid fears that is, fears about pedophilia, for instance, which are amorphous and have no easily identifiable referent. Awards and honors. Bauman was awarded the European Amalfi Prize for Sociology and Social Sciences in 1992 and the Theodor W. Adorno Award of the City of Frankfurt in 1998. He has been awarded in 2010, jointly with Alain Touraine, the PRA and CIPED Asturias Prize for Communication and the Humanities. The University of Leeds launched the Bauman Institute within its School of Sociology and Social Policy in Bauman's honour in September 2010. The University of Lower Silesia, a small for-profit higher education institution in Lower Silesia, Poland, planned to award Bauman an honorary doctorate in October 2013. However, as a reaction to a major anti-communist and what Bauman supporters allege anti-Semitic uproar against him, he eventually rejected the award. Criticisms. In 2014, Peter Walsh, a PhD candidate from University of Cambridge, UK, accused Bauman of plagiarizing from several websites including Wikipedia in his book titled Does the Richness of the Few Benefit Us All? In his book, Bauman copied verbatim paragraphs from Wikipedia articles on slow food and steady-state economy, along with their bibliography, without attributing source, authors or the fact that they were copied from the Wikipedia. He also copied a paragraph from article on Golden Handshake, but this citation was properly attributed to Wikipedia. In a response, Bauman suggested that obedience to technical rules was unnecessary, and that he never once failed to acknowledge the authorship of the ideas or concepts that I deployed, or that inspired the ones I coined. A detailed critique of Walsh and David Lehman by Brad Evans and Henry A. Giroux notes, this charge against Bauman is truly despicable. It's a reactionary ideological critique dressed up as the celebration of method and a backdoor defense of a sterile empiricism and culture of positivism. This is a discourse that enshrines data, correlations, and performance, while eschewing matters of substance, social problems, and power. Bibliography. Books by Bauman. Warsaw Period, 1957, Zagadnienie centralizmu demokratycznego w Prokok Lenina, Questions of Democratic Centralism in Lenin's Works. Warsaw, Książka I Kotaka 1959, Socializm Brytyjski, Angstrom to the First Rakub Dea, Filozofia, Doktryna Polityka, British Socialism, Sources, Philosophy, Political Doctrine. Warsaw, Po Stwowe Wiadornictwo Nauko, 1960, Kliza, Ruch, Elita, Studium Sociologicznego w Angielskiego Ruszu Robotniczego, Class, Movement, Elite, a sociological study on the history of the British labour movement. Warsaw, Po Stwowe Wiadornictwo Nauko, 1960, Zygmunt w Demokratycznego Ideału, From the History of the Democratic Ideal. Warsaw, Iskry. 1960, Carriera CZTEOYSZKICE Sociologic, Career, 4 Sociological Sketches. Warsaw, Iskry. 1961, Zagadny EWSPA Cubed Angstrom Ziznej Sociologia Americal SKIEJ, Questions of Modern American Sociology. Warsaw, Angstrom 1/4 Kaiwidza. 1962, Systemy Partij WSPA Cubed Angstrom Kasnego Kapitalizmu, The Party Systems of Modern Capitalism. Warsaw, Angstrom 1/4 Kaiwidza. 1962, Spelechzia STWO, WKTORYM Angstrom 1/4 Ajemi, The Society We Live In. Warsaw, Angstrom 1/4 Kaiwidza. 1962, Zaraz Sociologia. Zagadnienia I Poja Unregistered Trademark SIA, Outline of Sociology. Questions and Concepts. Warsaw, Por STWOWE Wydornictwo Norco, 1963, ID, Ideary, Ideology, Ideas, Ideals, Ideologies. Warsaw, Iskry. 1964, Zaraz Marxistoskijteu Spelechzia STWA, Outline of the Marxist Theory of Society. Warsaw, Por STWOWE Wydornictwo Norco, 1964, Sociologia na Kodcy, Sociology for Everyday Life. Warsaw, Iskry. 1965, WIZJ Luktskiego Angstrom Wyata. Studia nad Spryacza I Funkcją Sociologia, Visions of a Human World, Studies on the Social Genesis and the Function of Sociology. Warsaw, Angstrom 1/4 Kaiwidza. 1966, Kultura I Społeczność STWO. Preliminaria, Culture and Society, Preliminaries. Warsaw, Por STWOWE Wydornictwo Norco. Leeds Period, 1972, Between Class and Elite. The Evolution of the British Labour Movement. A Sociological Study. Manchester, Manchester University Press ISBN 0-7190-0502-7, 1973, Culture as Praxis. London, Routledge and Kagan Paul. ISBN 0-7619-5989-0, 1976, Socialism the Active Utopia. New York, Holmes and Meyer Publishers. ISBN 0-8419-0240-2, 1976, Towards a Critical Sociology, An Essay on Common Sense and Emancipation. London, Routledge and Kagan Paul. ISBN 0-7100-8306-8, 1978, Hermeneutics and Social Science, Approaches to Understanding. London, Hutchinson. ISBN 0-09-132531-5, 1982, Memories of Class, The Prehistory and Afterlife of Class. London Boston, Routledge and Kagan Paul. ISBN 0-7100-9196-6, c. 1985 Stalin and the Peasant Revolution, A Case Study in the Dialectics of Master and Slave. Leeds, University of Leeds Department of Sociology. ISBN 0-907427-18-9, 1987, Legislators and Interpreters, On Modernity, Postmodernity, Intellectuals. Ithaca, New York Cornell University Press. ISBN 0-8014-2104-7, 1988, Freedom. Philadelphia, Open University Press. ISBN 0-335-15592-8, 1989, Modernity in the Holocaust. Ithaca, New York Cornell University Press 1989. ISBN 0-8014-2397-X, 1990, Paradoxes of Assimilation. New Brunswick, Transaction Publishers, 1990, Thinking Sociologically. An Introduction for Everyone. Cambridge, Massachusetts Basil Blackwell. ISBN 0-631-16361-1, 1991, Modernity and Ambivalence. Ithaca, New York: Cornell University Press. ISBN 0-8014-2603-0, 1992, Intimations of Postmodernity. London, New York, Routledge. ISBN 0-415-06750-2, 1992, Mortality, Immortality and Other Life Strategies. Cambridge, Polity. ISBN 0-7456-1016-1, 1993, Postmodern Ethics. Cambridge, Massachusetts, Basil Blackwell. ISBN 0-631-18693-X, 1994, Dwaris Zkiceo Moral Meiponawaziznej, Two Sketches on Postmodern Morality. Warsaw, IK. 1995, Life in Fragments. Essays in Postmodern Morality. Cambridge, Massachusetts, Basil Blackwell. ISBN 0-631-19267-0, 1996, Alone Again, Ethics After Certainty. London, Demos. ISBN 1-898309-40X, 1997, Postmodernity and Its Discontents. New York, New York University Press. ISBN 0-7456-1791-3, 1995, Sierowipsmuk W. Zuponichesnui, Body and Violence in the Face of Postmodernity. Torowidornikto Norko Universiteta Mikaja Kopernika. ISBN 83-231-0654-1, 1997, Humanista W. Ponichesnam Angstrom Wirchi, Rosmawi OSZTUCE Angstrom 1 Quarterisia, Norse, Angstrom 1 Quarterisa USZTUKAI Nijsprawach, A Humanist in the Postmodern World, Conversations on the Art of Life, Science, the Life of Art and Other Matters. Warsaw, Zyskisk. ISBN 83-7150-313-X, 1998, work, Consumerism and the New Poor. Philadelphia, Open University Press. ISBN 0-335-20155-5, 1998, Globalization: The Human Consequences. New York, Columbia University Press. ISBN 0-7456-2012-4, 1999, In Search of Politics. Cambridge, Polity. ISBN 0-7456-2172-4, 2000, Liquid Modernity. Cambridge, Polity. ISBN 0-7456-2409-X, 2000, ed. by Peter Beilhartz. The Bauman Reader. Oxford, Blackwell Publishers. ISBN 0-631-21492-5, 2001, Community. Seeking Safety in an Insecure World. Cambridge, Polity. ISBN 0-7456-2634-3, 2001, The Individualized Society. Cambridge, Polity. ISBN 0-7456-2506-1, 2001, Conversations with Zygmunt Bauman. Cambridge, Polity. ISBN 0-7456-2664-5, 2001, Thinking Sociologically, 2nd edition. Oxford, Blackwell Publishers. ISBN 0-631-21929-3, 2002, Society Under Siege. Cambridge, Polity. ISBN 0-7456-2984-9, 2003, Liquid Love, On the Frailty of Human Bonds, Cambridge, Polity. ISBN 0-7456-2489-8, 2003, City of Fears, City of Hopes. London, Goldsmiths College. ISBN 1-904158-37-4, 2004, Wasted Lives. Modernity and Its Outcasts. Cambridge, Polity. ISBN 0-7456-3164-9, 2004, Europe An Unfinished Adventure. Cambridge, Polity. ISBN 0-7456-3403-6, 2004, Identity Conversations with Benedetto Vecchi. Cambridge, Polity. ISBN 0-7456-3308-0, 2005, Liquid Life. Cambridge, Polity. ISBN 0-7456-3514-8, 2006, Liquid Fear. Cambridge, Polity. ISBN 0-7456-3680-2, 2006, Liquid Times, Living in an Age of Uncertainty. Cambridge, Polity. ISBN 0-7456-3987-9, 2006, Moralna W. Stabilnym Angstrom Wirchi, Morality in an Unstable World. Potsuks an Unregistered Trademark Garnier Angstrom W. Wojcicza. ISBN 83-7015-863-3, 2007, Consuming Life. Cambridge, Polity. ISBN 0-7456-4002-8, 2008, Does Ethics Have a Chance in a World of Consumers? Cambridge, Massachusetts, Harvard University Press. ISBN 0-674-02780-9, 2008, The Art of Life. Cambridge, Polity. ISBN 0-7456-4326-4, 2009, Living on Borrowed Time, Conversations with Citlali Rovirosa Modrazo. Cambridge, Polity. ISBN 978-0-7456-4738-8, 2009, Angstrom ICW Contextac. Rosmawi Otim, Kozar Nami Iotim, Ko Przed Nami. Life in Contexts. Conversations about what lies behind us and what lies ahead of us. Warsaw, WAIP. ISBN 978-83-61408-77-2, 2010, 44 Letters from the Liquid Modern World. Cambridge, Polity. ISBN 978-0-7456-5056-2, 2011, Collateral Damage, Social Inequalities in a Global Age. Cambridge, Polity. ISBN 978-0-7456-5294-8, 2011, Culture in a Liquid Modern World. Cambridge, Polity. ISBN 978-0-7456-5355-6, 2012, This Is Not a Diary. Cambridge, Polity. ISBN 978-0-7456-5570-3, 2012, Liquid Surveillance, A Conversation. Cambridge, Polity. ISBN 978-0-7456-6282-4, 2013, Oboguikzawaweku. Rosmawi. On God and Man. Conversations. Kreka Cube W, Wideornictwa Literaki. ISBN 978-83-08-05089-7, 2013, What Use is Sociology? Conversations with Michael H. Viid Jacobson and Keith Tester. Cambridge, Polity. ISBN 9780745671246, 2013, Does the Richness of the Few Benefit Us All? Cambridge, Polity. ISBN 978-0745671093, 2014, State of Crisis, with Carlo Bordini. Cambridge, Polity. ISBN 978-0 7456-8095-8, 2015 Practices of Selfhood. Cambridge, Polity. ISBN 9780745690179. Books on Bauman. 1995, Richard Kilminster, Ian Barkow, Culture, Modernity and Revolution, Essays in Honour of Zygmunt Bauman. London, Routledge. ISBN 0-415-08266-8, 2000, Peter Bale Hartz, Zygmunt Bauman, Dialectic of Modernity. London, Sage. ISBN 0-7619-6735-4, 2000, Dennis Smith, Zygmunt Bauman, Prophet of Postmodernity. Cambridge, Polity. ISBN 0-7456-1899-5, 2004, Keith Tester, The Social Thought of Zygmunt Bauman. Palgrave Macmillan. ISBN 1-4039-1271-8, 2005, Tony Blackshaw, Zygmunt Bauman. London, New York, Routledge. ISBN 0-415-35504-4, 2006, Keith Tester, Michael H. Viid Jacobson, Bauman Before Postmodernity, Invitation, Conversations and Annotated Bibliography 1953-1989. Aalborg University Press. ISBN 87-7307-738-0, 2007, Keith Tester, Michael H. Viid Jacobson, Sophia Marshman, Bauman Beyond Postmodernity, Conversations, Critiques and Annotated Bibliography 1989-2005. Aalborg University Press. ISBN 87-7307-783-6, 2007, Anthony Elliott, The Contemporary Bauman. London, Routledge. ISBN 0-415-40969-1, 2008, Michael H. Viid Jacobson, Paul Podder, The Sociology of Zygmunt Bauman, Challenges and Critique. London, Ashgate. ISBN 0-7546-7060-0. 2008, Mark Davis, Freedom and Consumerism, A Critique of Zygmunt Bauman's Sociology. Aldershot, Ashgate. ISBN 978-0-7546-7271-5. 2010, Mark Davis, Keith Tester, Bauman's Challenge, Sociological Issues for the 21st Century. Basingstoke, Palgrave Macmillan. ISBN 978-0-230-22134-5, 2013, Haggag Ali, Mapping the Secular Mind, Modernity's Quest for a Godless Utopia. London, International Institute of Islamic Thought. ISBN 978-1-56564-593-6, 2013, Pierre-Antoine Chardel, Zygmunt Bauman. Les Illusions Produits de la Modernité. Copyright Paris, CNRS Editions. ISBN 978-2-271-07542-0, 2013, Sean Best, Zygmunt Bauman, Why Good People Do Bad Things. Farnham, Ashgate. ISBN 978-1-4094-3588-4, 2013, Mark Davis, Liquid Sociology, Metaphor in Zygmunt Bauman's Analysis of Modernity. Farnham, Ashgate. ISBN 978-1-4094-3887-8, 2013, Paulo Fernando da Silva Concierto dia Copyright na Contemporaneidade Segundo Bauman. Zar Poundo Paulo, Cultura Academica. ISBN 9788579834271. See also, Leszek Kałakowski. References. External links, The Bauman Institute. University of Leeds, UK. Regular columns by Zygmunt Bauman. Social Europe Journal. In Humanity as Part of Human Nature, English, in www. Salon USK, first published in Gazeta Wyborcza, May 2009, posts by Zygmunt Bauman. The Bauman Institute. Bibliography of English language publications, 1962-2001 at the Wayback Machine, free full-text download of Alone Again Ethics After Certainty from the official publisher Demos, Europe of Strangers Oxford University Transnational Communities Programme Working Paper, Culture in a Globalized City Zygmunt Bauman's Contribution to Occupied London, Does Ethics Have a Chance in a World of Consumers? Harvard University Press, 2009, The Global Factory of Wasted Humans. A filmed conference of Z. Bauman published 2003 on the French video portal Audiovisual Research Archive, Review of Consuming Life, Barcelona Metropolis, 2010. Bauman talks about democracy, Facebook and other contemporary issues in a 30 minutes interview, 2011, video, The Ambience of Uncertainty, interview on Reset, Dialogues on Civilizations,